That is Great White and Desert Moon. Here on Eddie Trunk Live, Trunk Nation on this Monday. Thank you for tuning in. We're just past the halfway point of our weekly 4-hour live get-together. And we welcome into the studio now guy that I saw play last at the M3 Festival earlier this year. I stood on the side of the stage, watched him do his thing, and he had no idea I was even there till afterwards. Because you were so immersed in your gig, as you should be, in the audience and all doing your thing. And then the next day I get a call from you like, dude, I heard you said nice things and you were watching me from the side. And I was like, yeah, that was me.
That was me, yeah.
Yeah. Good to see you, Jack Russell.
Good to see you, too. Good to see you, Eddie. It's always good to see you, man. Thanks for having us on.
Anytime.
It's always a pleasure.
You brought some bandmates with you. Tell us.
Yeah. I got my guitarist, Robbie Lochner, and I got a very, very special guest I'm proud to announce. Back in the band with me after 23 years, the Great White's favorite bass player, most well-loved bass player, most well-known bass player, Mr. Tony Montana on the bass guitar.
I paid him to say that. That's
cool. Wait a minute, let me make sure I got
you. And the crowd goes wild. But it's not permanent though.
Do you, right. Jack, do you introduce Tony on stage like that every night? Tony, you get that introduction every night?
Actually gets a better one than that.
Is that in your contract that now that you're playing with Jack, right, you need that sort of introduction?
We get like the horns thing. The carpet rolls out, you know.
And Robbie, what do you get? I mean, what happens to you? Just, there's Robbie over there on guitar.
He just blows right over me.
I was going to say it's RB on G.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Well, listen, there's a lot to talk about, and with Robbie and Tony here wielding their instruments, you guys are going to play a little song for us too before we let you go.
We're going to do something for you that we've, Great White's only done on the air probably 3 or 4 times in his career for various reasons.
Do you want to say it to tease people? Let them know that it's coming so they
you don't want to I want to record it yet. It's Wasted Rock Ranger, which is, I'm sure you might be familiar with the song. Maybe you don't. Maybe you don't.
What say again?
Wasted Rock Ranger.
That's an old Great White song, is it not?
It was a B-side on the European album, and it was also a B-side on the American single, and it was going to go on the regular album, but Kmart wouldn't carry it, Target wouldn't carry it because of the lyric content. So we had to release it because it was a story of my life, you know what I mean? And it's just a great, great, great party song. So,
are you doing it in your live set?
Absolutely.
Very cool.
Well, today's my 2-year sober anniversary. Sober anniversary. Birthday. Today my 3 anniversary.
When you say something like that, you shouldn't flub the words.
I was thinking on a sad note too, because also,
it sounds like Freddie already got a hold of your dingbats and blew that out the water.
Well, there goes the birthday.
You're playing the last place in America you want to be playing tonight if you want to try to stay sober. Because my man right there that owns dingbats in Clifton, I can't walk in there without him handing me a shot the minute the door opens up.
I just don't. Also 2 years ago today we lost our dear friend Jane Lane.
Yeah. Oh, is it 2 years today?
The 11th. That's when I quit drinking. That was the reason I quit drinking.
I didn't realize that it was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow, we'll play
August 11th,
we'll have to play something to remember Janie. You know, Janie did that metal show like a month before he passed away.
I know, and he was so good on it.
He was.
Did just such a great job doing. I watched videos of him doing my stuff, and he did it in the true essence of me.
Oh, that's right. He replaced you for a little bit. I forgot about that too.
And I was talking to his wife. I met his wife through weird, serious circumstances, just utterly bizarre. Had to be a god shot. And I said, your husband's death saved my life. And she goes, well, Jack, you saved his career because the last thing he did was with your stuff, and he did it really, really, really well.
Wow, that's amazing. And good for you for 2 years, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's good news. And I remember when I was in Akron, Ohio. I was at Tim Ripper Owens had a place at the time. He has a new place now, but he had his old place, Ripper's Tap House. And I was there doing an appearance, and I get a knock on the door before I went downstairs, and somebody came in and they said, hey, Janie Lane's brother is here and wants to know if he can see you. And I said, of course. And it was, maybe a couple months after he passed away. And,
does he have a brother?
Well, yeah, and he was from Ohio originally.
Right,
sure. So I put that. I said, okay, this makes sense. His family was still there, and he just came in, and the nicest guy, and he just said, hey, I really want to say thanks, because he said it was really great that for us and for our family that one of the last things anybody ever saw from Janie was him on your TV show,
looking great,
looking good, and being treated respectfully by you guys, and so it really meant a lot to me to have heard that. It was really cool.
I was telling the guys earlier what really choked me up was somebody goes, you need to go look at his MySpace page after he passed away. So I pulled it up, and there was 2 pictures. There was one of him and his wife, and one of me and him on stage, and it said The Boys, and I was just like, oh God.
Yeah.
I was just,
Yeah.
I had no idea, what high
soul.
regard he held
Good
me.
soul.
He was a great soul.
Yeah.
Amazing talent, great songwriter, will always be missed, and he saved my life.
Well, I mean, listen, if there's anything that good can come out of something so tragic, then that's nice to know that it had that much of an impact on you.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did.
So, well, listen, we got limited time and a lot of things to talk about. Give everybody the update on what's going on, and let me make sure I say this right. Is it Jack Russell's Great White?
Jack Russell's Great White.
Because I had
the
your
other
former
guys are Great
guitarist
White.
here on the radio a couple weeks ago. As you know, when this stuff happens, I give
Both
the platform
sides.
and let the fans decide. And so I know that it was significant because there was like a press release that came out that there was some sort of, that there was a decision made on the name.
Well, we came to terms. We went to mediation, and the judge was like, well, you guys haven't figured this out yet. It's been a year, and I'm like, yeah, well, why don't we figure it out? So we decided I said, look, you guys just be Great White. I'll be Jack Russell's Great White. Doesn't matter. As long as people know who's who. There's still people going to Great White shows and going, where does the singer go? But it's going to take a while. That's okay. There's 2 entirely different bands, sound entirely different. Because you have 2 completely different singers. And I'm not going to sit there and tell you what I think is best, but
it sounds like you've heard the other band.
I've heard parts of it. It's hard to listen to for me for a lot of reasons, emotional reasons and just for, hearing reasons. I'm kidding. I'm still kidding. I didn't come in here to bag him at all.
Did you hear the record they made?
No, actually, I have not heard one song.
Okay.
I haven't heard one song. I've heard about it, but so I can't really give any comments on that, But I can tell you what, the record we're going to come out with is going to blow your ears off your head.
So where are you at with that?
We're writing right now. Tony's got some stuff he played me the other day that I was just like, you're kidding me. And he was singing. I'm going, that's you singing?
Amazing. Tony can sing.
I always knew he could sing backgrounds, but I never heard him sing lead. I just thought, okay, he's just one of those guys that go out there and thinks he can sing lead.
Right.
And I'm going, this guy is like
He
a
can
real
sing.
lead singer.
So what are we going to get, like a dual trade-off lead vocal thing on this?
We're actually doing that.
Looking at a little of that?
We're talking about doing that. We're going to be doing that in the set, too, soon.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
We do it Mr. Bone right now, which is great because that's a song he came up with, So I think it's only fitting that he sing part of it and give me a little break anyway,
Well, Tony, fill everybody in on where you've been since you've been out of Great White and how you ended up reconnecting and being now a member of Jack Russell's Great White.
Gosh, I tried to stay busy, musically, and I made a couple of my own little records, and played with friends, did some studio stuff, and
the Slash thing.
Yeah, I went out with. I got the call from a mutual friend of ours, Pete Merluzzi.
Sure, love Pete.
Love Pete. Don't know Pete, but love him. Love you, Pete.
Yeah.
Pete's a tour manager, and he's out with Kid Rock now, but he's done a lot with Slash too. Yeah.
Slash's bass player Todd Kearns, a friend of mine as well, had a little medical problem on the road, so they called me and.
How cool is that? Though?
Yeah,
flattering, man.
Learned 25 songs in a week and flew to Hong Kong directly on stage and no rehearsal and banged it out, man. So
and you have to
kind of what he just did just right now.
And
too.
you have to have a voice because I'll tell you. I know all those guys very well, and they're all friends. And Todd sings his ass off too.
Yes, he does.
So to be able to cover that stuff even in the backing vocals, it was I'm sure a lot of work.
He's a great guy too, man.
Yeah.
I like him. Brent's a super guy, and of course Slash is a wonderful guy. So
he hates me. We never got along.
Really?
Yeah,
For real?
He told me a long time ago, dude, you need to start shooting heroin, man.
No, did he really?
Yeah, he goes, you're just too amped up all the time, and I can't handle being in a room with you. You're just too
Wait,
crazy.
was this when he was shooting heroin?
Yeah.
So
and I was a coke fiend, so it was like, it was like...
Oh, God, the yin and yang right there.
It was like, man, and then he wrote in his book, he said, something like, I never liked Great White, never liked the band. I'm like, dude, did you have to say that in your bio? Why did you just don't even mention me. Don't tell people you didn't like the band.
Well, didn't you... Tony, I'm going to get back to you in a second, but I meant to ask you this, Jack, because I thought about this. You guys shared the same management as Great White back then, right?
And that was the problem. That was part
Alan
Alan Niven.
Guns N' Roses,
Alan Niven,
right?
that was part of the problem because Alan, we were always his babies, and he always put us in front of them. You know what I mean? As far as like attention and whatever else. You know what I mean? And plus, he had a lot more control over us, which was, you know, we were young and dumb. We didn't know. We thought we can't do anything about this guy. He's the whole pinnacle. You know, he's the whole reason we made it. And then I got sober and went, I don't need this douchebag. You know what I mean?
You're talking about Alan Niven.
Yeah.
So what happened? Did you guys ever? Both bands never really connected then.
No, not really. We
So
used to
you just
hang
had the same
out. We had like
manager.
Christmas dinner, we had
they-
Christmas breakfast. We did shows together. We'd hang out.
They'd come out to the
I
shows.
used to party with Duff
Oh,
and
man.
Slash and
Well,
and,
Axl,
man.
Axl
and,
told.
and Steven Adler, man. We used to party
Oh,
together
boy.
like I'm just nuts.
Well, Axl, Tony's shaking his head up and down. But Axl told, when Axl Rose walked into my not this show, my FM radio show, he came in and did an interview with me, like completely out of left field. It was the first thing he'd ever done. It made huge news. It was like 7 years ago, something like that.
Wow.
And when he came in, he mentioned you in the interview, and he talked about this is hysterical. I wish if I had any level of production
I bet
whatsoever,
you know
I'd
the
be
story.
able to pull the audio, but I don't. He mentioned something about you guys snorting flies,
Oh God.
tsetse flies or something.
No. He's talking about a story. I told the story today. There was a guy on the field. We used to party up the field in high school, right? And we call him Rick Elf because he looked like an elf. He was like one of those guys you could pull
This is
anything,
in LA?
anything over on. So I was up in the field. I had some little Coke beer, and I had done my thing, and I caught a fly, and I tore its wings off, and I cut it in half, and I saw this guy walking up. So I acted like I snorted half the fly, and I brush off the mirror, and I'm all, oh God, oh that bird. He said, what? He goes, oh my cousin, man, he sent me this black Afghan fly from Vietnam, you know what I mean? He goes, it's like acid. He goes, really? He goes, what are you gonna do with the other half? I go, I don't know, I'm probably gonna save it, man.
This is what Axl said.
Yeah, it was really rare, right? And maybe I did to Axl. God, did I do to him too? I could have.
And now you wonder why they don't like you.
Yeah. So he snorts it, right? He snorts it, and you can hear it go all the way up into the sinus cavity. And then we start laughing, and these guys trying to blow it out of his nose. It wouldn't come out. He finally had to do one of those numbers, you know. But yeah.
He just brought that up in the course of the conversation.
Axl.
He said something like, "Yeah." He goes, "Yeah, man." He goes, "We had some wild times." He goes, "We used to." He goes, "I snorted flies with Jack Russell."
I think I did that. You know, it's kind of coming back to me now.
Back then, you'd snort anything. I'm
Oh,
sure.
you kidding me? Flies, June bugs, you know, and whatever.
Let's crush up a cicada and snort it. It's a great high.
For a long time, he had a really hard on, I guess, man. We were at Christmas breakfast one morning. I said, dude, what's your problem with me, man? He goes, you don't know me, do you? You don't remember me? I go, no, we met before. He goes, dude, years ago when you were Dante Fox, I just got into town. I was in a band called Hollywood Rose, and I asked you to listen to a demo tape and let me know what you think of it. And you said, oh, yeah, the band sucks, but you're great. And he goes, I hated you for that. He goes, but you were right. But he goes, I've always carried that grudge. He goes, now I can bury it. I go, okay, good. You know, so we're still enemies as far as I know, but you know.
Now that we got that out of the way, back to Tony Montana.
Back to Tony Montana,
So Tony
yeah.
was knocking around. He did a couple records. He jumped up and did a few gigs with Slash. And then
Yeah.
how did you end up? How did you end up to where you are now, playing Dingbats tonight with Jack Russell's Great White?
I don't know. We just reconnected somehow.
Yeah, you came down the boat one day, we were hanging out, just talking
Yeah.
about stuff, and because we hadn't seen each other in years, you know what I mean? And then it just kind of happened, man.
Yeah, and I guess I'm at a point where I really felt like it was important for me to take a look at my legacy with the band, and I saw what was going on, with the name and everything.
And
I
with
thought,
the bass player we had.
yeah.
We're not going to get into that, yeah.
But I thought it was important. It was time for me to address, my part and to look after that legacy a little bit.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm here.
Yeah, and it's brought so much, truth to the music, to the sound, hearing the notes played correctly, when picks are required, fingers when fingers are required, the tone is right. I mean, he wrote the parts. I mean, nobody plays them better. I mean, it's not like I don't go, dude, you're not playing that note right. I mean, you're playing Mr. Bone like, It's like, no, it's boom. You know?
We tried to lock it. We tried to get locked in.
Yeah, and we're
do.
tight, man. And, you know, he's only done a handful of shows with us, and the band sounds a million times better. Now, we got a new guitar player out with us. He's been out with us for 3 shows. We flew him out to Detroit. We flew the other guy home from Toronto. And he had to learn the whole set in 3 days on the drive from Detroit to Sturgis.
In the van.
In the van, standing up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You played Sturgis just recently?
Yeah, we did 2 nights at Sturgis and 1 at another bike rally. It was just awesome.
That's
Great.
a crazy scene out there.
And he's playing it just like the record, which is what I want. I mean, I expect
yeah.
from my guys, I say, man, I don't want to hear a different version of Kendall's solo. I don't want to hear an improved version of House of Broken
Right.
Love. I want to hear exactly what's on the record because that's what the fans know.
Right.
You know, if I hear a Zeppelin tribute band, I don't want to hear some guy wanking off on the Stairway to Heaven lead.
Right.
I want to hear, wow, na 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 na.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah, of course. So, Tony, it sounds to me like you were kind of inspired to jump into this a little bit because of what you saw from afar going down with the 2 versions of as this thing splintered. That you felt that it was, you know, you wanted to kind of get involved in that a little bit and kind of maybe. Am I reading that wrong?
Oh, no, absolutely. And I think at first, my first inclination was, why are they fighting like this? And you know, really, maybe I could be the
Catalyst.
the catalyst to help for us all to be on stage again together. And that was my first intention. And we started to feel that out, and
The
put
more
that
you
on
learned about the
grapevine.
story,
Yeah, and the more I heard about it, just that looked not very likely. So
not bloody likely.
so Jack and I just kept talking, and then he had a little problem with this guy, and heck, I kind of know the songs, so. He had a little problem with this guy, so it just kind of ended up going that way.
It
So
worked out
I'm having a
perfect.
good
I
time,
mean,
man.
we wasted like 3 days auditioning people when I knew he was going to be the bass player, you know, just to make the other guitarists happy because he set all these auditions up. We're going like,
The other one, not this one.
God,
I told
you know, I could
him.
be at home with my sick
Robbie
wife.
just wants to make sure you're not talking about
I
him.
mean, I could be at home with my sick wife.
I told him it was
you
a
know.
no-brainer. It had to be Tony or nobody. What I tell you, I told him
Yeah,
to call him and
right.
just get it done with. I don't want to sit through auditions.
Yeah,
you know,
and it's like,
let's
what's
do
the
it.
point? It's like,
yeah.
you know.
It's always such a painful thing, but if you can, I think we've made a pretty good transition.
It's been a smooth
fun.
transition. It's been fun, and it's just going to keep getting more fun. You know, every night the shows are more fun. You know, and we're having fun on stage. I see nothing but smiles, and they're real. They're not like the okay, let's smile because it looks good. You know, I mean, I'm having the last few shows have been the most fun I've had since I started this band. You know, this new band, and I've had a lot of fun.
It's been pretty good.
Good.
Do you miss anything, Jack, about taking the craziness and drama of what's transpired in the last couple of years and the legal stuff? Some of those guys in that band, obviously, like Mark, I mean, you came up with, you broke the band
Well,
together with.
yeah.
Is there a side that you kind of deep down inside? I always feel like no matter how much BS goes down, like I'll give you an example. Being growing up a big Kiss fan, I see that Ace and Peter have very much been on the shelf, and they've taken a lot of hits from those guys, and some of them warranted and some of them not over the years.
Right.
And I'm friends with Ace and Peter, and because of it, the other 2 guys, they.
Well, I think that's the band. I mean.
Yeah, but and I just, for me, I mean, separate to all that, I can't look at the band now with 2 guys impersonating Ace and Peter.
Right.
Nothing against Tommy and Eric; they're great players, great
Sure.
people.
Wonderful.
No problem with them being in the band. Even I
No.
just have a problem with them not being their own people. But that's just me. But my point about saying all that is that I've seen over the 20 years, 25 years that I've been friends with Ace, there's this, legal stuff and bickering and little barbs thrown in the press. But then on the rare occasions where I've been with Ace and Gene or Paul have been in the same room, there's still an embrace, and it's like, fuck, man, we started, there's something that traces deep down that when you look at that person, in their case, it's like 73, playing the shitholes in New York, no matter what kind of shit happened, and even Ace is like, it's just them, you just roll, they just kind of roll it off after a while.
Of course, yeah.
So there's gotta be, I would imagine.
Oh, there's some definitely tugs in my heartstrings. I mean, when we finalized this case, I walked over to Mark and I reached out my hand and he shook my hand and he goes, goes, "Nice one, dude." You know, like that was just one of his old sayings. I mean, then I heard he left the courtroom, and I heard he started crying. You know.
Yeah.
And,
I imagine for both sides. I mean, it's a tough thing.
It's tough for me because I mean, here's you know, at least I got Tony now, so I can talk stories about. But before, I couldn't sit there and go, "Hey, remember that time we did this?"
The ones that we
remember
can remember.
Remember that time we did that? And
Well, I was going to say, I'm sure you remind each other of things that you probably would have forgotten about, right?
Yeah, and it's sad, man, because I will always have a love for Mark Kendall. I mean, I started the band with him when I was 17 years old, you know, and I knew that if we stuck together, we would eventually make it, and we did. And we've been on 5 major labels, you know, we've done stuff that no bands have ever done, you know what I mean, but some got lost. I mean, you know, I got lost, and that didn't help. But then, you know, things just fell apart, and I really believe that if I would have went back with that band, I wouldn't have been able to stay sober because there was just so much water under the bridge. There was so much animosity towards me over money and canceled shows. And I'm like, one of the last things I said to him in an email was, you know, when did money become more important than human life? Somebody that you once called your friend, you know. And it was, so I don't know if I'll ever be able. I would love to be able to sit down and talk to Mark, and you know, at some point in the future, you know, who knows if it'll ever happen, but I'm open to it.
Is there any side of you that would like to share the stage with him again?
I got such a great band, man. You know, who would I replace? I'd have to, like, you know, hire somebody. I don't know. I mean, the others apart, sure. It's kind of like that. You reminisce about that first girlfriend. Yeah, would you like to take her to bed again? Yeah. Would you want to marry her? No.
Depends how much mileage is on it and how she's still looking these days.
I got a guy here that runs around like he's 20 years old. You got the younger, hotter chick.
Yeah,
I got the younger, hotter chick, you know, and you know, the band plays really well together, you know, and it's just fresh. It's fresh and it's fun and it's new and it's revitalized my spirit, you know, because I was going to retire. I was seriously going to go into disability. And I went and filed for it, and they always deny you first, you know. And then my wife goes, "Jack, do you really want to do this? Do you want to sit home on your boat all day long and just go fishing? And aren't you going to miss singing?" And I'm like, "Yeah, but I can't walk right now." She's like, "You'll
talk about where you mentioned you're sober for 2 years now, but talk about your health and where you are overall, because you've been through hell, man."
Well, okay, I'll try.
I saw you do a gig in Jersey a few years ago with Great White, and you were on a stool the whole gig.
Yeah, I'll give you a brief synopsis as quick as I can. Okay, '09, I fall in my bathroom innocently off a tub of paint. Fractured 2 vertebrae.
Now, when somebody said, when somebody hears a problem, hears something like that from a guy like you with a history of sobriety issues, they think you were whacked out of your skull. That's why you fell.
No, I wasn't drunk. I was standing on a 3rd full can of paint. I was too lazy to go to walk the 100 feet to the garage and get a ladder.
That's the irony of it, because people immediately think, well, he must have been fucked up out of his head. That's why he fell, but you weren't.
No, I just got off balance and I hit the side of our bathtub surround, which was hard. Porcelain, and cracked 2 vertebrae and ended up herniating a disc. So I had a back surgery, and then 2 days later that failed, re-herniated, so I'd have another back surgery. And during this time, I'm still going on the road. I'm taking massive amounts of pain pills. "Hey, Dax, you can do it, man. Come on, it's all right, man. You know, well, you got to make some money, man. You know, you can't cancel the tour, dude. Just take your pills, man. You'll be all right." You know, I'm like, I just want some time off, man. You know, and then I got my manager going, "Well, dude, you know, we'll pull the tour down. It's only 80 shows. You know, don't worry about it. You know, whatever you need to do to get your health together. But I got to tell you, as a friend, mind you, you know, it's probably getting your career because the promoters will never trust you again, and that'll be it. You'll be over with. So you just tell me what you want to do." So I'm like, "Okay, end my career or take a bunch more pills." Well, all right, I don't want to end my career, so I'll go, you know. And then I fall down on stage on my birthday in '09. I tripped on a cable. I shattered my left femur. I finished the show on a stool, like an hour and 20 minutes left. And I went into the hospital. They put a bar down my leg. Healing up from that, go back on the road. That's why I'm on the stool. And while I was healing up at home from that, on the way home from a flight, I perforated about 36,000 feet.
Now, how does that happen? Why does that happen?
You know, they don't know. It was an infection, and the infection was a weak spot, and boom, okay? And it could have been the pressure of the plane. There's a lot of theories, you know. So I get back home, and they take me to rush me to the hospital. They do emergency surgery. They take out my sigmoid, and they took out my sigmoid colon and gave me a colostomy bag for 9 months. And I got a pulmonary embolism. I was in the hospital in my lung, blood clot. You know,
Jesus.
So I mean, I was in a coma for 5 days. You know, and they told my wife that I wasn't going to come out of it. They said, you need to start making arrangements. He's not going to come out of it. And I wake up, and I'm like thinking I'm kidnapped. I don't know where I'm at. Right, these tubes in my nose. I'm freaking out. I'm pulling everything out. And my wife tells me, I go. When I finally figure out what's going on, I go, honey, did the guys call? And she goes, no, nobody's called. I'm like, nobody called to even see if I was alive? No. And I'm like, oh my God, dude, you know, that just killed me. That was the biggest knife in my heart ever. And I was still willing to go back, you know, but there was no conversations after that, you know.
You said when we had you on that metal show, you were saying that your wife, you credit her really with your survival, really,
yeah,
right?
Absolutely. I mean, she's the one that, you know, made me go to the hospital when I woke up with a pulmonary embolism, because I was like, oh, I'm just probably just having a hard time breathing. Maybe I smoked too much today or something like that, you know. And they said if I wouldn't have gone in and gotten that medicine, I would have been dead, you know.
Right.
And there were several times like that, instances where she, you know, literally saved my life.
And because your wife is a nurse?
She's a nurse, yeah.
Okay.
And she just got out of the hospital. She just had colon surgery.
Wow.
You know, it's like, yeah, it's really weird. Now, but you put us both together, we have a full colon. So instead of one of those little, you know those little heart necklaces, like with half a heart, each one was the other half. I'm gonna get like half a colon, she's gonna get the other half, and, you know.
Oh so, man, you just gotta laugh at some point,
so
don't
after
you?
After that, okay, I fall down drunk, break my right hip, so I got 3 screws there. While I'm healing up from that, I fall down drunk and shatter my pelvis. So I schedule my surgery for August 11th. I go in the hospital August 10th, surgery happens August 11th. I wake up, find out Janie's dead, and I went, that's my God shot. And then Steven Tyler called me up a couple days later and said, Jack, what are you doing? I said, dude, I don't know. He goes, you gotta get sober, dude. I don't want to lose you. So,
Steven Tyler, huh?
Yeah.
Wow, that's heavy.
Yeah.
Coming from him,
He's helped me gotten sober a couple times.
He has?
Yeah.
Wow, amazing.
Every time I've needed him, he's been there. I mean, like, you know, boom.
You know, I know a lot of, Aerosmith's one of my, you know,
that's my favorite
top
band
3
in the world,
bands in
dude,
history. And, you know, when I growing up, I mean, you know, I had the live bootleg poster on my wall. I mean, Aerosmith is so sacred to me. I spent
that's why I pierced my ear, dude, when I was a kid, 11 years old, because Steven had an earring.
I spent a few days with them on the road late last year, and got to travel with them and everything. It's one of the greatest experiences of my life been on the plane with Steven. I mean, I can't even comprehend I'm saying that, but it was. And I get, you know, Joe and Joey I know the best in the band,
right?
But I spent some time with Stevie. He let me watch him do his warm-ups and stuff in the dressing room, and I got
I'll let you watch mine too, Bunny. The guys got to watch him down here.
Dressing room though. Take that.
Well, it has him in his car. I was doing it in his car on the way down here. Yeah.
But anyway, the point of the matter is that, you know, I heard that, like, about Steven, that he'll do things like that without people even knowing about it, and it reminds me of a drummer that played in Enough's Enough, who was a good friend of mine.
I love that.
Ricky Parent.
I love that.
And Ricky was in that band, and Ricky was battling cancer. He passed away, unfortunately. But Ricky told me that, you know, in the last year that he was alive, Ricky told me that Steven Tyler called him up to lift him up in his battle with cancer. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, that might have brought the guy a year, because his hero just, you know, gave him such a jolt. And it's so cool to hear things like that when people do it. They're not, you know, press release doesn't go out
it's like
about it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's just kind of like you're in that fraternity of musicians. It doesn't matter who's bigger or lower, or who's higher or bigger record sales, who had more hits. It's like, you know, hey, man, guy needs some help. Let me see. Yeah. Speaking from a guy like Steven, who's been through the mill.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's funny. He told me when I told him, he asked me a story one time. He goes, I read some article about you shooting this maid. Is that true? I go, yeah. He goes, man, I thought I had a story. I go, you do. Don't worry about it. You got a story.
Oh, man. So up to the present, you're good now? Your health is good?
Health is really good, man.
You walked in here, which is a good thing. You know, you're walking.
Yeah, I have a cane. I have a cane because my left leg is now 2 inches shorter than my right leg. I mean, I don't need it on stage. I can still run around like a madman, spin around, do the things I used to do. More importantly, my voice is in really great great shape. I've had a year and a half to really work it, because I mean they cut me from my belly button all the way up to my sternum, pulled all my intestines out, you know, washed them all off.
It's like
put 'em back
Braveheart, man. It's like,
in. Yeah, you know, and then it takes a long time.
You should come on stage to that open music from Braveheart.
Yeah.
You know, you should play that.
I'll lay on the table and stuff, right, and have the guy like just gut me, right?
Yeah, Ennio Morricone, I think.
They did that, you know. So I mean, it took me a while for those muscles to strengthen up, and those are all your supporting muscles, you know. And for my voice too, that had atrophied after a year and a half of not singing. So you know, the first month or so was a little rough, but you know, as we got going, my voice got stronger, and I'm feeling great, man.
Well, having seen you play this year, like I said, stood right on the side of the stage and watched you sing. I mean, I was amazed at how strong your voice sounded.
Thank you.
It was really, really good. Before we go, I'm going to play a song, and we'll maybe take a few calls, and we'll let you play a song, because you guys are going to do a song here.
Cool.
So we'll get to that. But before I do, I want to ask you, and I know this is a tough thing to talk about, but I know it's important to a lot of people to hear you speak about it.
Sure.
It's been some years. I think it was 10. Did I just hear it was 10 years since the tragedy in Rhode Island, right?
Yeah.
And how have you handled it in the last 10 years? I mean, I imagine it's still
Every single day I think about it.
Yeah.
It never goes away. And there's nothing that I don't talk about it anymore, because there's nothing I can say that's going to make anybody feel any better. You know, all I can say is I'm so sorry that happened. You know, I wish there was something that I could have done to stop it, but in the
you
course
lost a bandmate as well.
and a lot of dear friends that I didn't even know they were even there.
Yeah.
I mean, people from California that just flew out arbitrarily to see the show. It was like, why were you here? Why were you even here? You know, I'll never know.
Right.
You know, people that like, the guy that gave me my last tattoo. I went and got a tattoo that night, and I said, "Hey, you want to come to the show?" "Yeah, sure, man, I'd love to." He died in the fire. I'm like, God, it's a direct result of me getting a tattoo. You know, how do you carry that around with you? You know, it's been really hard, you know, and there's nothing I can say to make anybody feel any better. So I just don't talk about it anymore. You know, it was a horrible thing that happened, and my life has, you know, I appreciate my life a lot more, and you know, I'm also more aware of my surroundings. Where I go places, I take a little more responsibility for my own safety. You know, I don't just walk into a club and go, okay, well, this person has my safety at first and foremost in his mind. You know, I'm like, where are the exits? What if something happens? What do I do? You know. So that's just the way I live my life now. But it's hard, man. It's hard, and I can't imagine how hard it would be for somebody that lost a son, wife, daughter, you know, husband. Compared to, you know, my loss, it's nothing.
Right. And for you, I mean, there's been benefits and things that have taken place in that area to, you know, for the people who survived or help them with medical.
Yeah, we try to do what we could.
And I know you try to do what you can, but do you understand, like, you know, you've never, I guess it's a sensitive thing, but you've never been included on some of these events that have taken place up there, and there seems to be...
Well, there's the Jack's Out now thing, especially now because the ex-manager is really good friends with the girl that runs the fund. I tried to donate some money to the fund this last thing, and they refused to take it. You know, they're with the other camp, you know, and it's sad because that doesn't affect her, it affects the people that I was going to give the money to, you know. It shouldn't be about you or getting backstage at concerts because you're so-and-so from the Station Family Fund. It's like, you know, you should, I don't know, I don't like to talk for hours about this, but, you know, if I'm ever asked to do something, I'll be right there.
Do you think, the last thing on this, Jack, do you think that out of that tragedy, and as I said, you lost friends and you lost a bandmate and so many people tragically died in that thing. Yeah. You know, I remember when I saw it on the news that night 10 years ago. I mean, the thing that struck me about it was that it hit so close to home for me because I know the local radio DJ who did the metal show in that area died in that fire, and that was me. I mean, if I was said to, the first thing I'd said to myself, I've been doing this 30 years, and any show in the New York, New Jersey area, now I'm all over the country doing stuff. But I mean, in my home area, as it was for him, I was like, that would have been me bringing them on. That would have been me at that thing. So it's such a connection. Do you think though that anything positive has come out of it? Do you think that clubs have figured out and buttoned up a little bit more?
Let me tell you something. At first, yeah, it seemed like people were making an effort, but then the public has a very short memory. You know what I mean? It's like now things are kind of like, I see things back to where they used to be. You know, it's...
I see it. You know where I see it too? The tragedy with Dimebag, and when
Oh God, that's scary, dude. Well, the first time I had to play Al Rosa VF, that happened because Dimebag was a big fan of ours. Pantera was a huge fan of Great
he
White.
loved hard rock stuff
You know,
like that. Yeah, but what I remember is when that happened, there was such a push for, even in clubs, you know, better
Metal detectors
security,
and-
more people
right.
on the ball, make sure the back door is locked up, keep an eye on
And
this,
those
keep an eye on
laser
that.
light pen things,
All
man.
kinds
it's
of
like,
stuff.
you know, get
And I
rid
got
of
to tell
those.
you, man, just like people have a very short memory because I've been to countless shows since we lost Dime, and you know there's nothing going on. You can go anywhere. I mean,
Oh,
nobody's
dude, yeah.
checking
I
anything.
can walk in carrying an Uzi. You
Yeah,
know,
I mean,
like, you
it's
know,
fun.
oh, hey, it's Jack. No problem, man.
Yeah, it's amazing. People kind of, you know,
They forget.
short-term
They forget,
memory,
yeah.
man.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, you look at 9/11, okay, for example.
Well,
man,
for sure.
We had this big, you know, patriotism rush for a while, and then all of a sudden kind of faded away.
Yeah.
You know, for a minute there was a American flag at every single corner, and now it's like nobody can give two craps.
Well, more than that, the security issue. I mean, it makes me laugh when people, you know, complain about an extra few minutes in the security line, or you know, I see people in the line at the airports like huffing because they, you know, they wanted to check a bag or something. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, you
Are
got a gun.
kidding
You have a
me?
gun in your bag, dude. Put
I mean,
it
are
in
you
the.
kidding? I don't give a shit if you got to hold me another 15 minutes as long as you're
Right.
checking everybody down. I mean,
Check me, but check the guy with the towel on his
yeah,
head too.
check
Okay?
everything. I've got nothing to hide. So you want to go do the cavity search on me? It might be the most fun I've had in a long time.
Yeah,
so
hey,
let's
go for it, man. I'll spread them open for you. You know?
Especially if it's the TSA woman is a woman. You know?
Right,
Let's
yeah,
go. You know,
The
I'll show
TSA
you whatever you
woman.
need to see.
As a woman.
All right, well, listen, you got a song to play, and then you got a gig tonight in New Jersey at
Yeah.
Dingbats in Clifton, so we can't hold you here much longer, but I want to make sure that we can get you, Tony, you need a connection. I see my engineer Kevin walking around outside,
Okay.
so we'll see if we can play a song or two to get him in, to get you guys ready to go, and then we'll come back and we'll let you play that song and let
Cool,
you
yeah.
get out of here.
Awesome.
And,
Yeah, I wish we could stay longer. I'm sorry we got here so late. It was just a long drive. We were just
where'd you come from?
Wisconsin.
Oh, okay.
And it was just, we hit every problem you could possibly have. You know, I mean, I had a medical problem. My drummer was sick. We had to stop at a clinic and get some stuff for him. And, you know, it's just, there's stops you have to make. You gotta stop
Tony, aren't you
yeah.
glad you're back doing this?
Yeah, it's been a real whirlwind.
Oh, that hurts. Man. That hurts. I thought you were having
That's all
fun.
Make
good.
sure
It's
you
all
go to
good.
Dingbats if you're in New Jersey tonight, because you don't know, it could be Tony Montana's last gig.
No, not at all.
Yeah, no.
Not at all. But I'm definitely going to have a cocktail after this one
There you
myself.
There you go.
Well, let me tell you-
You can celebrate my birthday, right?
Yes,
Because
I
I
will.
can't.
When is your birthday?
Today is my 2-year sober birthday.
Oh, I thought you meant your birthday.
Yeah.
Birthday.
Oh, that's December 5th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right,
we're
'cause mine
not
was just-
going to go there.
Mine was just the other day, and I was like,
I know, I called you.
Oh, you
I meant
did.
to
I
call
got your
my
message.
phone died.
No.
I lost my charger. When I finally got one, you were the first call I
I
made.
appreciate it very much, and it was funny because you started the call, so I was like, hey, it's Jack, I can't do your show. I'm just kidding with you, man. So it was good. You had me for a second on that. All right, I'm gonna play a Great White classic here, and I'm gonna let my engineer come and make sure you guys are what you need to have
Yeah,
done with
that'd
your
be great. So we
equipment.
can do a little sound check.
What I want to play is the first song I ever heard from Great White, and it's still one of my favorites. It goes back to the kind of more metal-leaning vibe of the band. Stick It.
I knew it.
Stick It. I love this, Jack. In the set at all? You still working this up?
You know what? We've been thinking about doing something else off that record. So we've been doing Down on Your Knees for so long, you know.
Do both.
Yeah, On Your Knees is
They're both
cool because that
kick-ass.
Zeppelin thing they
Oh,
put in there
they're
is really
both
cool,
kick-ass.
you know? Yeah, so I was thinking that would be Add the Night, which is just a really, you know, I don't know.
All right, well, let's do Stick It, and Kevin's going
Stick
to come
It,
in here,
yeah.
and then you're going to do something live for us in the studio. It's Eddie Trunk and Tony Montana and Robbie Lochner and Jack Russell from Jack Russell's Great White.
Yes,
Is that
sir.
right?
You're not going to get sued now.
Thank you. Here's Stick It.
Yes, stick it.
As I always say, sometimes the stories that things we talk about
the air.
off the air while you guys are listening to the music one of these days, but you know, we respect the privacy and the boundaries, but
Make
funny
your
stuff.
toes curl, man.
Funny
Yeah,
stuff.
make your teeth curl, man. Are you kidding me, man?
Funny
Yeah.
stuff.
It would be good to have a tape like that and just release it someday.
I would never do
The
that.
last thing you ever do, like the last Eddie Trunk thing.
Yeah.
It's like, this is the end of my career, so here.
Well, that's everybody keeps asking me when I'm going to write like a book, a tell-all book, and I'm like, I still got to work. You know,
right. Yeah.
when you're Sammy Hagar and you've got $100 million in the bank and you don't give a shit, you can say what you want, but man, you
Right.
still got to work.
Yeah, I gotta
As it
get
is,
it,
I
man.
get in trouble for every friggin' thing I say. So,
Yeah.
all right, so there's.
Jack's great. Jack Russell's a great white.
I don't even mean that. I mean everything. So anyway, yes, Jack Russell's Great White is in the studio. Robbie Lochner, Tony Montana, and of course Jack Russell himself. And we're just listening to Great White and Face the Day.
Yeah, the extended version, which is really cool. I've
Yes.
heard that in a long time.
And now, before you guys get out of here and get to your gig in Jersey tonight at Dingbats in Clifton, you're going to give us a live performance in the studio. Kevin has got you all wired up and ready to go, so set it up, Jack.
This is the story of my life. Okay, I'll tell you how this song came from. I was hanging out with Slash and Duff at Rumbo when they were doing the record, and Slash goes, "Dude, you got to hear this song, man. This is the story of your life." I'm like, okay. It's by a band called Porky and the Answers, a friend of his. So he puts this song on. I'm listening to it, and I'm just howling, just dying laughing, going, oh my God, I've got to record this. So, you know, I ended up convincing the band to do it, and it just became one of those underground hits, and people just love it, and it's just the ultimate party song about the ultimate party guy that's now sober.
All right, now with that, hold on one second because I want to record this.
Oh yeah, there you go, good, that'd be great.
And this the CD I'm using just locked up. So it's a good thing I noticed that it locked up. So let me get this out and put a new one in. So
There you
hold
go.
on.
We'll get one that's not recorded on. Then you gotta check. One of you guys, you gotta check that stuff out that Robbie and I did with Herman Rarebell. That was really special.
Well, you just gave me some
yeah,
CDs
yeah,
here,
I
right?
dig it. It's really special.
Herman's a German.
Herman's a German. Yeah.
Robbie, how long you been playing with Jack?
Almost 2 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah, about 2 years.
And while this is queuing up, give everybody your background a little bit.
I've worked with Rob Halford. I've done some stuff with Eddie Money. Did a little bit of stuff with Cherie Curry, Jack Russell, and then this record here. And I've had a multitude of original bands.
Yeah, he's like, I mean, I've never seen a guitarist play the way he plays, and I've seen a million of them, and it's just, I watch him every night with my jaw dropping. It just...
Sounds like an eclectic background too, different
Yeah,
yeah.
influences and stuff
Oh
too.
yeah,
So.
yeah.
Oh,
He can
yeah, I'm
play
influenced by a lot of people. I mean, I love from Beatles and Stones to, you know, I love Richie Blackmore.
He plays
Van Halen.
classical like you wouldn't even believe it. Like he's eating a sandwich, he's playing Mozart. It's like,
Wow.
It's just,
All right, we're good.
all right, we're good.
Go ahead and let it rip.
All
Set it
right.
up again, Jack. Just tell
Russell's
everybody
theme
what they're
song.
hearing.
Wasted Rock Ranger, man. This is it. Take one. Well, I'm a wasted rock ranger. I live the life of danger. On the road to find a higher high. I don't need no one's affection. All I need is my injection. Altitude less far will get me by. I've been doing gigs since I was 10. I really can't remember when I ever had $1 to my name. My ears are blown, my eyes are red. I got big holes inside my head, snorting too much crystal and cocaine. I have bennies with the breakfast toast, quaaludes with the evening roast, assorted snorts of powder in between. I don't think a day's gone by that I wasn't drunk or high. It's the only way I keep my sanity. From Kagerston to Hootersville, my flaming strings have topped the bill. 1,000 empty bottles earn my name. Endless strains of one-night stands, sharing stage with half-ass bands, and all the local groupies lay the same. Well, I could have had a paying job, working for some fucked up smob, life of family, true security. But I left that shit behind, fall that heavy metal grind, 'cause rock and roll is in my blood to stay. Hey, you're a wasted rock ranger, you'll live a life of danger. Sing this song and follow it till the end. And when you reach number 1, you can overdose for fun and go and visit Jimmy and his friends. I'm a big fan. Black Ranger and live a life of danger. Sing this song and follow it to the end, all the way. 'Cause when we reach number one, we'll all overdose for fun, and we'll hang out with Elvis and his friends. And that's that.
Nice, nice.
Not the usual Great White fare, but
There you go. That's a little shit kicking Great White right there, right?
It's the lyrics I just love. It's like I'm like, God, this is my life.
And Slash told you to do that, huh?
Yeah, Slash and Duffy.
That's awesome. Awesome stuff. Well, there you have it. Jack Russell's
Thank you
Great
for having
White.
us down, man.
Great to see you
It's always
guys.
great to see
Tony,
you.
welcome back into this world.
sir.
And good
Yeah.
to see you. Robbie sounded great
Thank you.
on guitar and vocals as well, backing vocals. And again, if you're in the New Jersey area, head on down to Dingbats, Clifton, New Jersey. You'll be taking the stage in about an hour. Traffic shouldn't be too bad. We're well past traffic time getting out of the city, so Dingbats is a stone's throw. You'll go and have some
Go
fun.
hotel, change your clothes, and go on stage.
Yeah, I'll see if I can even make it by and catch
would
a
be
song or
great.
two on my
Oh,
way
that'd
out of
be
here,
awesome.
depending upon what time I can get out of the city. So, Tony's giving me the sign. Unless somebody's driving me home, I get in trouble every time I go there.
Yeah.
I say to Fred every time at Dingbats, I'm like, I gotta drive, dude. I live 40 minutes from here.
That's okay, man. There's only like 100 cops.
Yeah. Well, the cops are friends with Freddie, though. The problem is when I get out of the town, they don't control all of New Jersey. That's the
Right,
problem.
Joyzy.
Oh boy! All right, guys.
Hey,
Well,
thank
listen.
you, man.
Thank
Travel
Good to see
safe.
you again.
All
Will
right,
do,
good
man.
luck.
And Mark Kendall, if you're out there, man, God bless you, dude. And I'm glad we worked things out.
All right, very cool. Good to hear. All right,
Cheers,
guys,
guys.
thank you. All right,
Thanks,
we're
man.
going to let you guys make your way out of here, and I'm going to say goodbye, play some Queensryche right now, and then we will be back we'll take some calls probably for the last 20 minutes. So hang out. Eddie Trunk Live, Trunk Nation on this Monday, here for another 40 minutes live.